This old lady was about to die because she witnessed the robber killing her. The robbers shot the old lady twice. What they didn't know was they had messed with the worst person in town because the old lady had 4 brutal sons. On the day of the funeral, the whole town came out to pay their respects. Because the old lady was known as a great benefactor in the area. She had adopted hundreds of orphans over the decades. She used her love to teach them to be human and found them new families. But 4 of the children were too naughty to be adopted. The old lady had to raise them. Yourself, the eldest brother, Jack, had been a gangster for many years and was known as the local champion of hooligans. Under his mother's tutelage, he became a normal person. The second brother, Alan, had lived with his mother for many years and was a good man with a family. The third brother, Tom, who used to cheat on girls and is now a soldier. The fourth brother, Jerry, is a first-class gangster and third-class singer for brothers who are not related by blood. Reunited by the death of their mother, they return to the familiarity of their home. They look at their respective rooms with sadness. Even Jack, who is usually very grumpy, hides in the bathroom and cries. The 4 of them decide to have a Thanksgiving dinner together like they did when they were kids. But as they ate, it was as if they heard their mothers nagging again. More tattoos, Angel? I love bad things happen to you. Before you came to me, would you say that? No. Jack couldn't eat anymore. He brought some of his brothers to the bar for a good time. They vowed to avenge their mother's death, but Alan was against it. He thought the police should take care of things in a lawful society. With that, he got up and went home. The enthusiastic barman told the 3 brothers. Some of the gangsters had given testimony to the police that they had witnessed the robbery. While playing basketball, Jack rushed to gather his weapons and equipment. He took Tom and Jerry and raided the gangsters' lair. The punks said they were innocent because the police made them fake those statements. The robbery took place at 11 p.m., but the basketball court turned off the lights at 10 o'clock, so they couldn't have seen the robbers. In order to prove that the gangster was lying, they took him to the basketball court. Sure enough, the lights went out at 10 p.m. It seems that the punk was telling the truth, but why would the police falsify their testimony? The perceptive Jack suddenly realized that this could be a conspiracy. The next day, the 4 brothers went to the convenience store to retrieve surveillance footage. Watching the video of their mother's murder, they all closed their eyes in disbelief. 2 robbers shot and killed an old lady and ended up angering his 4 murderous sons. Watching the video of his mother's murder, Jack suddenly realized something was wrong. The robbers had the money, but still found the mother in hiding and shot her dead. It seems that his mother's death was not an accident, but a deliberate act. That's when the owner told the men that the boss told them that a gangster had witnessed the whole thing and had seen the robber's face. The 4 brothers decided to wait under the gangster's house. Alan left early on the pretext of picking up his daughter from school. Shortly afterwards, the gangster appeared. The 3 brothers rushed after them. They didn't expect the gangster to see them running away and let out a vicious dog to buy themselves some time. He took out a rope and climbed down the window. At the critical moment, Jack cut the rope. He fell from the height and broke both legs. There was no way out, so he gave a description of the robber. The 3 brothers followed the information to a bar. Jerry recognizes the 2 robbers immediately. At the same time, the robbers noticed them and immediately pulled out their guns and shot at the trio. A chase ensued in the street. Jack knocks over the robber's car with his foot on the gas. He pulls them out and asks them who they are working for. But the robbers don't dare say the name because they'll die too. Jack kills them with a single shot. The next day, the police came to the door. They suspected that Jack had done it, but they had no direct evidence. The brothers disliked them on the spot. That afternoon, someone from the insurance company arrived unexpectedly. He said that Alan had taken out a high-value insurance policy on his mother. Now that his mother had died, he would receive $400,000 in compensation. The insurance man also revealed that Alan's company was on the verge of bankruptcy and needed the money urgently. This makes the 3 brothers instantly suspicious, seeing that Alan was involved in their murders. They began to follow him in secret. They found out that he was sending money to the bad guys. Man. The brothers were furious. They took Alan to their home and beat him up. When confronted by the brothers, Alan's face was full of anger and aggression. He only bought the insurance to protect his mother. The 3 brothers were away for many years. The burden of caring for his mother had to fall on his shoulders. As for sending money to the bad guys, man, it was because the bad guys were interested in his business. They were working together with government officials to bully him. He had no choice but to give them money to avoid disaster. Just then there's a knock at the door. Jerry got up to answer the door. He was given the finger for no apparent reason. Then a ball of snow hits his face. Enraged, Jerry went after him to seek revenge. He suddenly turns and pulls the trigger on him. Jack heard the shot and rushed out. He used his shotgun to take him down, but he didn't expect them to come prepared. Two masked men got out of the car. They shot at Jerry again. Jack was pinned down and went home. He and Tom exchanged. Of the fire in the room, Alan held the back door. He takes out the attacker with a knife. After a fierce battle, all the killers are taken out, but Jerry's eyes are closed for good as he bleeds out with a gun in his hand. Jack asks the killer, who was still breathing, who was responsible. They explained that the killer was the bad guy, Ari. Thank you. He just took a bite of food while Big Brother was talking. He was called a dog by Big Brother. Big Brother poured the food on the floor. He told him to lick it up like a dog. At that moment, the woman next to him muttered, "Your mouth. I put you down there with it." Under the threat of the Big Brother, the woman got down on the floor and ate the food with the man in silence. He is the most arrogant underground Jack in the city, Ari. Meanwhile, the police arrived at the three brothers' house. He expressed his regret at Jerry's death. At the same time, he tells the three brothers he had found out that some bad cops were working with Ari. The old lady had come to the police station to report that Ari had made trouble for Alan's business. But the bad cop had deliberately kept the story under wraps. And the old lady got herself killed. The sheriff promised the three brothers he would give the three brothers an explanation after dealing with the bad cop. But to their surprise, the sheriff is shot dead by the bad cop. That night, the three brothers finally realized that the only way they can truly avenge the deaths of their mother and fourth brother is through their own means to truly avenge their mother and fourth brother. And so they did. They split up into two groups. Alan took the full amount of the compensation. Then he found one of Ari's men and said he would settle with Ari for $401,000. Ari agrees. He told his man to take Alan to a lake in the countryside and wait. Meanwhile, Tom, a former soldier, caught the bad cop, had his girlfriend go to the police station and report that someone was trying to kill the cop. The police quickly sent men to surround Tom. Hearing the sirens outside the door, the bad cop arrogantly states that he killed the sheriff. But what was the point of that? The police outside wouldn't believe a thug. Tom laughed. He lifted his shirt and lied about having a wire on him. Their conversation was being listened to by the cops outside. Now everyone knows that the bad cop killed the sheriff. After saying that Tom deliberately made a mistake, he let them take the gun. The bad cop walked out of the house with Tom in his arms. The cops outside are confused. I thought the cop was kidnapped. How come the gangster was a hostage? Instead, one cop was about to go up and ask questions. The bad cop thought he was going to arrest him. He shot him immediately. Tom took the opportunity to break free just as the bad cop tried to shoot him. Tom's mission was successfully completed. On the other hand, Kenny arrived at the deal with his boys, checked the cash, and it was all in order. He got up and ordered his men to kill Alan. But what he didn't expect was for all his boys to do nothing. It turns out the $400,000 wasn't for Ari. Instead, it was given to the men who had had enough of his torture. His men surrounded him as he was about to do so. Jack came from a short distance away. He wanted to avenge his mother and fourth brother with his own hands. The two men fought on the snowy lake. No weapons, just their fists. In the end, Jack had the better of them. One punch knocked Ari out. Then the boys threw the brutal older brother into the cold lake. The brothers finally get their revenge. At the end of the film, the three brothers have repaired their mother's house. The family lives happily ever after. Only Jack still thinks of his mother from time to time, as if she had never left.